twinkling lights all over town, children's carols in the air, by the Christmas tree, a shower of stardust on your hair.
And from the nation's capital, all sides, all the time, I'm Ed Lingao.
And I'm Gretchen Ho. The big story tonight. You just witnessed a clip of OPM icon Jose Marie Chan singing his song, A Perfect Christmas. He will be joining us later on in the show to help us usher in the Burr months. But before that, the big story tonight.
Physical apprehensions are back for erring motorists in Metro Manila as the Supreme Court orders the suspension of the implementation of the No-Contact Apprehension Policy, or NCAP.
The MMDA has deployed over 900 traffic enforcers in areas where NCAP CCTVs were previously located. Gerard de la Peña with the story.
A section of the Quezon City Hall's Department of Public Safety and Order has been closed off today. The office, which handles payments and other concerns regarding the no-contact apprehension policy, has stopped operating after the Supreme Court issued a temporary restraining order on NCAP. Aside from QC, Parañaque, Valenzuela, Muntinlupa, and Manila are also implementing this program. The order is prospective, meaning those earlier penalized will still have to settle their fines. The MMDA has also halted its own NCAP operations, although they are seeking for further guidance from the Office of the Solicitor General. This is because the agency was not included in the respondents of the SC order.
Nire-respeto po natin ang TRO ng Supreme Court at susundin po natin ito. Marahil po kailangan naming malaman kung dapat po ba kaming mag-intervene po doon sa petition na nakabinbin po ngayon pending po sa Supreme Court at pending final resolution po.
With this, the MMDA has deployed 901 traffic enforcers to man the areas where NCAP CCTVs were previously located. The agency returned to full physical apprehension of erring drivers along major thoroughfares.
Ngayon po na TRO po ang NCAP ng MMDA, yung traffic enforcers po natin patuloy pong manghuhuli through physical apprehension po.
Some jeepney drivers are now breathing a sigh of relief after the NCAP suspension.
May tulong rin yung nawala dahil po kahit na yung mga violation hindi namin kaya bayaran, okay na po.
Halimbawa, nakago tapos naggo ka, biglang mag-isap, may violation na yun. Tama lang yung nawala yun, sir.
With the NCAP suspended until further notice, the MMDA is reminding motorists to remain disciplined on the road. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, We Are One News.
Metro Manila LGU say they will also abide by the TRO, but some noted that the NCAP was an effective measure in instilling traffic discipline in their cities. Mon Gualvez with the report.
With the suspension of the no-contact apprehension policy in the metro, here's what local government units in NCR have to say. Valenzuela City Mayor Wes Gatchalian said city traffic enforcers will remain active on duty to ensure strict compliance with traffic regulations. All motorists are urged to continue practicing due diligence in maintaining road safety. The Quezon City government, meanwhile, noted that the NCAP has significantly reduced traffic violations in affected areas by 93%. Still, it says it fully respects and will abide by the TRO issued by the Supreme Court. The City of Manila shared the same sentiment, although it also admitted that it has received complaints over the NCAP implementations among Manileños. The LGU said that the court should further study the policy to resolve its issues. For its part, the Land Transportation Office welcomes the decision of the High Court to temporarily halt the NCAP. The LTO plans to reach out to concerned stakeholders to discuss issues related to the policy. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, We Are One News.
Well, it's interesting that the Supreme Court has set the oral arguments for January of next year. That's, clearly 5 months from now. The big question, I suppose, for a lot of people is, will the TRO stay until January of next year, or will it expire in the next few weeks?
May a lot of questions to the implementation of NCAP, and may proposal kanina, why not have a dry run? To be able to resolve all the glitches, all the problems with it. Of course, the dispute system, finding evidence, and also some issues raised when it comes to assigning the penalties to the car owner instead of the driver. We also have the LGUs releasing data that it actually lowered traffic violations 93% for Quezon City. So, and also less chances for bribes and having our traffic personnel be there physically.
Yeah, but the fact is that it's TRO by the Supreme Court, so the case is with the Supreme Court, so it becomes a constitutional issue. More than it is a question of whether or not it's effective as a traffic management system. I think the two main issues that the courts will have to solve will be, number one, whether due process is followed, and number two, whether privacy issues are being enforced. In other words, one question being raised by one of the petitioners is that the LGUs have been able to access private information from the LTO that they should not.
Kung marami pa tayong titignan dyan, and we'll wait for that, although January 2023.
Matagal 5 months from now.
Matagal pa. Medyo, this is gonna be a long issue, and we'll drag on, and we'll...
So the question is, will we be watching out for those CCTVs until January, or?
Hindi, ako kasi nakatira ako sa Quezon City, so sa Commonwealth, kapag ka naisip mo na pwede kang mahuli, talagang kahit papano matatakot kang mag-speed eh. But now
Which
that it's...
is part of the solution.
Yeah.
I mean, it is done in other countries, but anyway.
Well, definitely take a look into that. But after the break, Super Typhoon Henry has entered the Philippine area of responsibility. We'll get the update straight from PAGASA. That and more when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
Trending amongst Gen Z and millennials. Heralded as the anti-Instagram, Be Real purports to be a more authentic social platform.
It's just a great way to kind of see what your friends are up to in real time. Like, I personally have a friend who's a mom, a friend who's traveling right now, a friend who's working on different projects creatively, and so I kind of get to see a little bit of that every single day.
The app requires you to post one picture a day with no filters or editing. You have 2 minutes to post a picture, one from the front camera and one from the back camera simultaneously. If you miss the 2-minute window, your post will be marked as tardy and you won't be able to see your friends' pictures until you post your own. To date, Be Real has been downloaded 27 million times globally. Now, that's a long way short of the 2 billion daily active users that Facebook has and even the 238 million that Twitter has, but it still regularly tops the App Store as the most popular free app. The US is Be Real's biggest market, accounting for nearly 40% of its total downloads. UK's in second with 15% and France ranks third with 8%. Some are attributing Be Real's explosive growth to Instagram fatigue.
I think people are getting fatigued with Instagram, especially lately, because the way they've changed the algorithm multiple times and are currently pushing reels and video, which are great for some people and some content creators that do that, but not everyone has the time or bandwidth to create those. I think the main attraction of Be Real versus other platforms is that it's kind of leveling the playing field, and you get this notification once a day and you kind of post it and you're done. You can scroll to see what everyone's doing, but you're not being sucked in like other platforms are trying to get you to just scroll all day.
The main unanswered question for Be Real is how it intends to make money. Less user attention means less opportunity to serve them ads, but it's also unclear that users would be willing to pay a monthly subscription fee. For now, it's funded by venture capital, and it's attracted the attention of big US names like Andreessen Horowitz, Accel Partners, and DST, who've put a combined $30 million between them into the company.
As far as Be Real being the next biggest platform, I don't think it's necessary.
The super typhoon with international name Hinam Nor has entered the Philippine area of responsibility and has been given the local name Henry. Super Typhoon Henry is the third tropical cyclone to enter the PAR in August after Florita and Gardo. PAGASA says that since the super typhoon is hovering over the extreme northern portion of the Philippine area of responsibility, it is not seen to directly affect our weather, but it may absorb tropical cyclone Gardo and enhance the effects of the southwest monsoon.
And here to give us more details about Super Typhoon Henry and Tropical Depression Gardo is PAGASA Weather Specialist Benson Estareja. Magandang gabi, sir, and thank you for joining us and welcome to The Big Story.
Magandang gabi rin po, Sir Ed and Ms. Gretchen, and to all our viewers.
Yes, sir. Unang-una, siyempre, interesadong lahat dun sa Typhoon Henry. Mukhang malaki at mukhang malakas, pero medyo malayo naman. So, pagbabalanse po, ano dapat ang asa natin sa Henry?
Yes po, tama po. No? May kalakihan at may kalakasan po itong si Super Typhoon Henry na pumasok lamang kaninang 5:30 p.m. sa ating Philippine Area of Responsibility. Sa ngayon po, nasa 810 kilometers ito northeast of extreme northern Luzon. At inaasahan po natin sa mga susunod na araw ay west-southwest or pasubsub po yung kilos nito sa direksyon po ng extreme northern Luzon. Now, yung nakikita nating direksyon base dun sa ating pinakahuling track, simula po bukas hanggang sa Sabado ng umaga ay almost stationary or halos hindi po ito gagalaw dun sa may silangan po ng Batanes. At nakikita natin during this time din po makakaranas ng mga pagbugso ng hangin ng extreme northern Luzon, whereas yung western section of Luzon and Visayas, bagamat kung mapapansin natin ay malayo ito sa ating malayo yung nabanggit ko ng mga lugar dito sa gitna nitong si Super Typhoon Henry, makakaranas pa rin po tayo ng mga pag-ulan dulot ng habagat or southwest monsoon hanggang weekend po yan.
Hey, Benison, this has been tagged as the strongest or the Earth's strongest storm of the year. Tama ba yun? Binabantayan ito ng buong mundo? At saan ito tatama?
Yes, Ms. Gretchen. So far, ito po yung pinakamalakas na bagyo at 195 kph to sa ngayon. Pero ang projection natin is posibleng umabot pa siya into 205 kilometers per hour. Now, yung official natin track dito, kung mapapansin po nyo, ay hindi siya magla-landfall. Subalit posibleng yung spiral band o yung kabuuan nitong si Super Typhoon Henry ay mahagip itong parting Batanes and Babuyan Islands.
Pero sir, ang banggit nyo kanina, ang galaw niya is west-southwest. So pababa siya po, ang track niya ay pababa. Although hindi nga siya tatama sa atin diretso, pero I suppose mas maraming bahagi ng Luzon ang maapektuhan.
Yes, tama po. West-southwest yung movement niya in the next 2 days. Tapos almost stationary ito. So ito yung time kung saan mag-enhance ito ng habagat. At maraming lugar po dito sa Luzon, lalo na yung western section, yung Ilocos Region, Cordillera Region, even yung Zambales, Bataan, Metro Manila, and then yung western side of Calabarzon and Mimaropa, magkakaroon po tayo ng occasional heavy to occasionally intense na mga pag-ulan. So ito po yung magkakos ng mga baha sa mga low-lying areas, magpaapaw ng mga ilog at mag-cause din po ng landslides.
Hey, Benison, how are you preparing for this typhoon? Is there anything that you're watching out for?
Yes, ang binabantayan po natin sa ngayon ay yung possible na interaction between the current tropical depression Gardo and then si Super Typhoon Henry. Very interesting, no? Kasi isa rin sa mga influence nung west-southwest movement nitong si Bagyong Henry ay itong si Gardo. Na bukas ay inaasahang magiging low pressure area na lamang tong si Gardo and technically ay parang higupin or i-absorb nitong si Henry na lubang mas malakas kumpara kay Gardo at si Henry na lamang po yung ating imo-monitor.
Grabe, no? Itong si Gardo at si Henry, pati sila merong unity.
Sana wag naman. Wag na lang mag-unite.
Sir Benson, teka, tanong ko lang po. Kasi ito nga hindi naman diretso sa atin ang tama nitong bagyong ito. Pero I suppose yung tatama sa atin talaga yung matinding ulan dahil nga sa paghatak nitong dalawang ito dun sa mga weather systems. Ang tanong ko po sabi niyo kasi expect heavy to intense rainfall. I'm wondering lang how we can qualify that sa paraang maintindihan ng taong bayan. Kasi kahit sabi mo intense rainfall, hindi matansya ng tao kung gaano kagrabe yan meron ba tayong comparatives dyan o meron ba tayong descriptives kung gaano katindi itong, for example, kumpara sa ibang bagyo o ibang ulan?
Yes po. Kung pagbabasihan natin yung climatology or yung normal na bumabagsak na ulan, like for example, dito po sa Ilocos Region, sa Baguio, Abra, usually po, for the month of September and August, daily, doon sa isang kwadrado, 1 square meter po na lote, merong 8 galong tubig na bumabagsak kada araw. At doon sa 1 square kilometer po na lote naman, equivalent yun sa parang 12 Olympic-sized pools kada araw na bumabagsak sa isang araw. So imagine na lamang po natin, ganon kalakas yung posibleng maranasan ng mga pag-ulan ng ating mga kababayan doon sa western side of Luzon po.
Sir, so ulitin lang sir, equivalent to 12 Olympic-sized swimming pools for 1 square kilometer. Yan ang babagsak na ulan na asahan natin dahil sa dalawang weather disturbances na ito.
Ito po ay yung climatology. But then yung madadalang ulan nitong si Henry, mahirap po yan ma-quantify, no? Dahil maraming mga factors po. Like, yung forecast po kasi natin is hindi yan exact. Pero kung pagbabasihan po natin yung typical na bumabagsak na ulan tuwing August at saka po September, daily po, ganun karami yung posibleng mamagsak. Like for example, dito sa Baguio, sa Zambales, at saka...
Ito po yung typical, in other words, for the month, for this month.
Typical po for this.
Dito po sa Metro Manila, ay tayo po ba ay makakaasa ng malakas na pag-ulan din?
Yes po, for Metro Manila, meron po tayong habagat na magsisimula ng lumakas by tomorrow. And then yung peak po ng mga pag-ulan natin, Friday and Saturday, occasionally heavy rains po ito, no? So posible tayong magtaas ng mga yellow rainfall warnings, and which yung mga bahain na lugar, yung mga low-lying areas po, is most likely magkakaroon ng pagbaha.
Sir Benson, huling tanong ko lang para po sa inyo. Kung kayo po bibigyan ng pagkakataong bigyan ng payo yung mga LGU dun sa norte at yung mga taong bayan sa norte, anong sasabihin niyo sa kanila bilang paghahanda dito sa bagyong ito? Kasi kahit sabihin natin intense rainfall, baka hindi nila masyadong maintindihan eh. Anong gusto mong sabihin sa kanila?
True enough po, mahirap talaga mag-quantify ng ulan, but then when we say na meron tayong mga heavy to intense na mga pag-ulan, mag-focus po tayo dun sa impact. Isipin natin, ano yung mga madalas na binabahang lugar? Ano yung madalas na nagkakaroon ng mga matinding pagguho ng lupa? Ano yung mga river networks, yung mga main rivers natin, like yung Cagayan River, possible yung mag-overflow, at ganyan din yung ating mga malilit lamang na rivers dun sa Northern Luzon. I hope it doesn't send the wrong message na dahil hindi magla-landfall itong si Bagyong Henry, ay hindi magkakaroon ng agarang aksyon, dahil we have to think of habagat. We have to still think na magkakaroon ng mga minsan malalakas sa mga pag-ulan. At kapag habagat, do not underestimate din po yung hangin. Dahil naririnig natin, hanging habagat. The monsoon itself means winds. So meron tayong minsang malakas na hangin. At kapag meron tayong malakas na hangin, meron din tayong matataas po ng mga pag-alon. So yung ating mga nasa coastal areas, mag-ingat din po sa mga matataas na mga pag-alon.
Okay, maraming salamat, PAGASA Weather Specialist Benson Estareja. And right after the break, we will be speaking with Jose Marie Chan as we welcome the start of the bear months. And that and more when the big story returns. Keep it here in One News.
Per usual, young consumers are leading the trend. It's called shopping to sell. Basically, you buy used goods from luxury brands like Prada or Reformation, and then you resell those products later at a higher price online.
In the first half of this year alone, the online consignment platform The RealReal saw a 50% jump in the reselling of items bought on the site by Gen Z.
But is the shopping to sell method actually going to help you fight inflation? Let's call reporter Martine Paris to find out.
Thrifting has always been a way to value shop, but in the past year it's become something of a sport for Gen Z as they've hunted items to flip for a profit, especially luxury brands that have been endorsed by celebrities. And the market remains strong as wealthy shoppers seek brands to elevate their status. Some people are seeing shopping to sell as a lucrative side gig.
And for those looking to stay on trend with your shop to sell purchases, you should focus on 90s wear as we head into the fall.
The rainfall has been the highest in 3 decades. Some communities have been cut off completely and they're being provided relief through choppers. And the size of the population that has been affected by this is more than 30 million, which is bigger than the population of Malaysia. seen that UAE has sent 2 planes in with aid. Turkey has also, and UN is actually appealing to the world as well. And we've seen a lot of other nations commit to sending aid as well to Pakistan. $10 billion is a number that the finance minister has cited, and that is a huge number. That is equal to the entire current account deficit of Pakistan for the entire year. There is one more spell of rain expected in September. The government is trying to prepare for it as well and letting the people know as well.
The latest inflation hack involves more shopping, and per usual, young consumers are leading the trend. It's called shopping to sell. Basically, you buy used goods from luxury brands like Prada or Reformation, and then you resell those products later at a higher price online.
In the first half of this year alone, the online consignment platform The Real saw a 50% jump in the reselling of items bought on the site by Gen Z.
But is the shopping to sell method actually going to help you fight inflation? Let's call reporter Martine Paris to find out.
Thrifting has always been a way to value shop, but in the past year, it's become something of a sport for Gen Z as they've hunted items to flip for a profit, especially luxury brands that have been endorsed by celebrities. And the market remains strong as wealthy shoppers seek brands to elevate their status. Some people are seeing shopping to sell as a lucrative side gig.
And for those looking to stay on trend with your shop to sell purchases, you should focus on 90s wear as we head into the fall.
You're still watching the big story here in One News. In just a few hours, the country will be entering the bear months. And what better way to kick off the Yuletide season than speaking with the iconic singer closely associated with Christmas among Filipinos.
Joining us live via Zoom, we have with us Jose Marie Chan himself. Good evening, welcome to the big story, and welcome home to the Philippines.
Thank you, Gretchen. Hello, Ed.
Hello. Magandang gabi. Pareho na tayong time zone.
Advance ka, advance. Oh, Ninong.
You know, I was going... Yes, Gretchen.
Maganda na raw kayo ng barong kasi malapit na raw.
Oo. No, kamusta po kayo?
By the way, Ed, I was meaning to ask you, are you from Iloilo or Negros?
Well, my mother's from Iloilo. We're Dornilas. Amanto Dornila from Dumangas.
Yes, I know that family. Dornila from Dumangas.
Yes. We're kind of notorious there.
No. The same town as Senator Frank Drilon.
Yes. And Rock Drilon.
Because in Iloilo, your family name usually the first letter of the family name corresponds with the first letter of the town.
Yeah,
like
true.
Drilon from Dumangas, like Parcon from Putotan, Halandoni from Haro, Chan. No, Chan pala is from China. Sorry.
Okay. My dad is from Lipa, and that's why we are Lingao. So yeah, that still follows in Batangas as well.
That's cool.
You know, Ed, in the beginning, when I first saw your name, and I remember I had a picture taken with you, I thought that you're from Iloilo or from Negros because the word lingao is an Ilonggo word for entertain.
Wow! Learned a lot.
And I know that the Visayans among watching the show now would verify that malingao will be entertained. Lingao, yeah. Anyway, let's go back to the main topic.
Ganda pala ng pangalan mo, Bok.
Well, I heard different versions from different provinces. Some of them were not very good.
Yeah. No. But lingao, you can ask any Ilonggo. Lingao is the word for entertain.
Perfect for the season.
Sa amon nga show. Yeah.
Okay, shoot, Gretchen.
Ninong, okay, you just came from the United States. Did you have the concert there with Walt Disney last August 20? Am I correct?
That's correct, Gretchen. It was the concert of the Filipino-American Symphony Orchestra. It was held at the Disney Concert Hall, and that concert featured my music.
Wow.
Under the direction of Maestro Robert Schroeder.
Speaking of your music, the album Christmas in Our Hearts was released 1990. I'd just like to say I was born 1990. so this is, I would like to say, part of my era. How did you have that album in that concert? And, when we usher in the Christmas season, I mean, 2 years into the pandemic, is it any different with the way you celebrated it in the United States?
Well, I did not go to the U.S. for the Christmas season. I made sure that I'm back after only 2 weeks because, I have that business to handle. I have that business to look after. So I couldn't stay away that long. And especially because now there seems to be sugar mess. I'm sure you've been reading about it in the papers.
Yes.
So I wanted to get back because it's the start of the milling season, the sugar milling season. But yes, Christmas to me means family. The best way to spend your Christmas season is to be with your loved ones, with your family, with your children and grandchildren.
Mm-hmm. But sir, at the same time, before I ask the question, do you have any songs from 1967? Just kidding.
Yes. Okay, no. In fact, Ed, 1967 was the year that I came out with my first ever recording. It's a song called Afterglow.
Oh, Afterglow.
Oh my God, I love that song.
Afterglow is 67.
I love that song.
67. And the flip side of that record was Pines, Pines, as a pine trees.
Pine trees.
So Afterglow, because that was the year also that I hosted a TV show called Nine Teeners. That was before you were born. Your parents would remember that show. Get around, 9 teeners, and up around, 9 teeners. And in that show, we guested several combos, bands. And one of the bands that regularly played in that show, 9 teeners, which I hosted, by the way, was a band called Tilt Down Men, headed by Senator Tito Soto.
Tito Soto. Oh, okay. I wasn't really expecting an answer, but he had an answer. But anyway, sir, going to my question, you've been dubbed as the father of Filipino Christmas music. Some would even say would practically relate Christmas to you, especially when the bear months come around. But at the same time, I also understand that in some interviews you've said that sometimes you're not very comfortable with the way that people associate you and Christmas. Tell us more about that and what you think Christmas should be about.
No, there are two different subjects. One is what they call the father of Christmas music. Mm-hmm. I sincerely say, please do not call me father of Christmas music, because Ed, long before you and I were born, there were hundreds of Christmas songs composed here in the Philippines. Mm-hmm. I grew up listening to the Daigons, the Cosmos, the Christmas carols. And so I'm not the father of Christmas music. Absolutely not. No. But for my songs to be associated with the Christmas season, that is a blessing.
Yeah.
Because imagine, Gretchen, that song, Christmas in Our Hearts, is 32 years old. And it continues to be sung and appreciated and loved by our countrymen, young and old alike. And so it is a blessing, and I'm truly honored. I'm truly honored that until now, my song remains a favorite during the Christmas season.
Yeah, and it's a song for family that can be sung by a family.
I feel like we can go on this conversation for hours because you got a lot of stories to tell across those 32 years. But
plus.
we'll have more of you hopefully on my show on Friday, Frontline sa Umaga. And before we let you go, gusto ko lang sabihin, no, Christmas is also my season. Gretchen, ho, ho, ho.
Oh, no.
No, I brought some props because I love Christmas just like you. And I'd like to say thank you as a child who grew up 1990 up until now, you kept Christmas alive. I mean, the spirit of my childhood lives with your music. So I'd like to thank you for
mine
that.
too. Mine too. Even though I belong to a completely different earlier generation. But baka we can ask no?
Can you sing for us?
My idea of a perfect Christmas is to spend it with you in a party or dinner for two. Anywhere would do.
Ang sarap sa puso talaga. Ang sarap niyo po talaga. Maraming salamat.
Can we extend it some more?
No, I can listen to you the whole night. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please do enjoy your rounds.
Merry Christmas in advance to both of you.
And to you
Gretchen
too, sir.
and Ed, a very Merry Christmas. And may the joy and spirit of Christmas remain with you all through the new year.
Now that goes for all of our viewers tonight.
Thank you, sir. Ingat po. And that's a big story tonight. For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. You may also log on to onenews.ph for more in-depth analysis. I'm Edwin Gao.
The big story is also available via Signal Play app. Make a free account now at signalplay.com and stream One News anytime, anywhere. I'm Gretchen Ho. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.